What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Breaking it all down for you. Eagles OTAs begin. Harper gets plunked by Strider. And did the Sixers stay at 3? That's the conversation. Let's go.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our doc, Make Them Yours. That Dr. Paul Vidal, specialized physical therapy, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, packed house here tonight. Noah Eaton, Ryan Elizik, Luke Brown, the graduate, Greg Milakovic, Heel Chrome, Mikey Rotundo getting pressed by family members, and I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. Let's go over it all. Strider, Plunks, Harper, and somebody's got to get going off the charts here. Okay. Yeah, still happening. That's awesome. So, Strider, Plunks, Harper, Eagles OTAs begin. Sixers draft options. We're going to go over it all tonight. The Sixers should stay, should trade back as our poll. The Sixers should trade back, but stay inside the top 10 instead of drafting at 3. Somebody's fucking shit is horrendous. I'm guessing who it is. Yep, and I was right. The Sixers should trade back, but stay inside the top 10 instead of drafting at 3. Do you agree or disagree? I couldn't even hear myself think for like at least, what is this, a minute 52? And I can't even hear myself. Goodness gracious. Sixers trade. So agree or disagree? Disagree. We traded back and all this crap. Stay at 3. Take the best player. Didn't we just do this one? I feel like I just answered this somewhere. It might have been on Thursday. I don't know. But I feel like I just answered it, so I'll answer it again. Disagree. Take the best player available. Call it a day. Develop the kid. Get him better. You got a great staff for that. Stop trying to wheel and deal. All right? You're going to wheel and deal and get caught with your pants down and not get anybody you want. So get somebody you want. If you like a guy at 7 and you like him that much, then take him at damn 3. All right? You don't got to try to like hope a guy's there. Because what happens if you trade back and the guy you maybe want isn't there? And then you get caught. A little peekaboo. Peekaboo. I don't even want to play games. If you like a guy, but you say, well, he's not really top 3, then how much do you really like him then? So take the best player you like, call it a night, and let's get better. Let's not try to acquire. We're going to try to acquire stuff for the future. Can we just get better right now? There's good enough players at 3 that you can hit there. Stop overthinking it. That's where I stand. Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree as well. And your last statement is exactly what I thought. Don't overthink it. Just go out there, take best available at number 3. You know, you hear all the things, you know, Kevin Durant's name, Lauri Markkanen, all these different names thrown in. But to me, at this point, you got to draft a guy. I think that even if he doesn't have to immediately play big minutes, you know, that's kind of the luxury of the roster that you do have. Draft somebody that has a really high ceiling that can come in and contribute now and move forward. At this point now, you're building your core around Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain going forward when it comes to the draft. So, I disagree to the poll as well. I think you absolutely stay. You stay at 3, not just stay within 10. You stay at 3.
I completely agree. I move off the pick. Now, to both of your points, if the guy you want is there, you go. But see, I think the way it seems like it's going, right? You're souring on Ace Bailey, right? It seems that way, at least from the outside looking in. To me personally, I don't know that I draft VJ or Trey at 3 and pay him 3 money when I can drop back to 6 and see if one of those falls. Right? Drop back to 5 and get the best of whoever falls out of those 3. Just hypothetically saying those 3 are the guys. Right? I think between 3 and 10, you're getting about the same caliber of player. You're getting about the same potential ceiling type of player anywhere in there. And if I could drop back 3 spots and acquire another first either this year or next year, which we don't have one right now, I'm doing it all day long. I'm doing it all day long.
I
So
don't
I
hate
agree.
it.
I agree.
I don't hate
I'm
the
not.
idea.
By the way, I'm not doing it for a veteran though. Like I'm not trading for Durant. I'm not trading. You know what I mean? Like I'm trading to stay inside the top 10. If I'm between three guys, maybe 5, 6, to where I could still potentially get one of those guys, and then either acquire an asset later in the first round or in the next year where we don't have one.
I'm with you a little. I see both sides of it. I'd rather stick at 3, but I'm definitely open to trading down. I would go as far down as 8. I think that's where I cap it. I can't go past 8 because I like 8 guys. I really like 9 guys, but one of them's Malawach, and obviously he doesn't make a ton of sense here just for, personnel reasons. He won't develop here. So you can't draft him. That leaves you with 8. And if you look at 8, I think the most realistic trade down is at 8 with Brooklyn. Now that asks you the question of is Cam Johnson worth you trading from 3 to 8 and also risking you liking players at 8? That's where I'm out. And I say, no, I'd rather just stick at 3. However, if I woke up to that news tomorrow, honestly, I wouldn't be all that surprised because everything coming out right now is saying that they like 3 guys right now at 3. Yep. And I feel like we all kind of know who those 3 guys are. The third one's kind of up in the air. Is it Trey Johnson? Is it Con Knipple? I don't really know. So it kind of goes to show you where their head's at right now. Just to all you Ace Bailey people, there's actually a discussion out there. Just, the team themselves is actually saying that. So that's pretty unique. I don't really know what they do. I'm down for sticking at 3. It's just a really, really tough pick between those 2 guys, Ace, VJ, and I guess if you want to throw Trey and Con in there too, you can. It's real, real tough with us right now. And I think if you're Utah, if you're Charlotte, that pick might be a lot easier to make. So I see the idea of trading back. I just cap it at 8. I don't go past 8.
Yeah. Just to be contrary, I'm going to agree to this. I think that if you can get a trade with somebody in the 4, 5, or 6 spot, whether it's, if Charlotte really wants Ace Bailey, or if Utah wants to trade up, or if Washington wants to trade up, these teams are consistently in the lottery, consistently in the top 10, right? Obviously, they don't really have any players that you really want. But if you can get a first-round draft pick out of these guys for next year or the year after, right, and you can get another top pick to be able to back it up in there, I don't hate it because, I know we've talked about this. I'm not really sold on Ace Bailey. He's a good prospect. VJ is a good prospect. Knuppel could be pretty solid. Trey Johnson, again, pretty solid there. It's really just it's a crapshoot. So if we're anywhere in between that 3 to 6, I'm not going to hate whatever we're going to do as long as we get something to coming back in. Because again, I think this is more a long-term project. We kind of lucked into this pick. I love the idea of just being able to continue and hopefully getting another player, whether it's somebody who can help you now or somebody that you get next year and hopefully have for the next 8 to 10 years. Imagine that. That'd be really cool. That'd be totally cool. So.
Yeah, lottery pick that's not Jaleel Okafor or Sharon Wright. That'd be great.
You got a trigger me tonight, Noah?
I'm still with you on that one, Greg.
It's like someone bringing up Zach LaVine to Tommy over the last couple of years.
Stinks.
So, Noah, your poll question.
I disagree. Stay at 3. Look, the scouting department and the GM, they're either going to get it done or they're not. And if they can't find a basketball player at the 3rd overall pick that can contribute to this basketball team and actually put the damn ball in the hoop, then they don't deserve to have a job. So let's go. Get a contributor in here who can help Joel out, and maybe Joel can stay healthy, and maybe we can win more than 20 games.
You had me until you said that you want to get somebody who can put the ball through the hoop, and you lost me. You know what I mean? You had me I was right on your
I
coattail
got
there, and totally unredeemed yourself.
I feel like I
Leave
could
it
be
up to me
swayed.
to crash into the median.
I could be swayed if and only if in this one scenario, because they have no assets, if they are really looking at possibly trading a Paul George or Joel Embiid, you are going to need to package picks to get rid of those contracts.
Right.
So if they were trying to acquire the assets to move them, one of them, I could be open to it then. But outside of that, where it's just to get more to take another pick down the road, I don't care about that. Then I want the pick now. But if we're using that to move one of those two contracts, I'm in.
I was thinking that too, Chrome, but I was putting the caveat we still have to be like if one of those 6 to 8, like if Washington or if it's New Orleans or if it's Brooklyn, if one of those 3 teams loves Ace Bailey because he's polarizing as hell. We've talked about it. There are teams that absolutely love him. And then you clearly have teams like the Sixers that can't really catch a vibe yet. If those teams really love him and they're willing to just create a bidding war for him, that's where I'm willing to do it because then it puts you in a really good position to get a top 8 guy and then have the assets and the capital, as you said, move off the deal. But I don't think I'm able to do that unless I know I'm still in the top 10 or in the top 8 because you have to come out of this with, as awful as the season was, they have to come out of that with something. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, you need to inject a little bit of freshness to this roster, right? Because you can't make very many other moves. And to be honest, like that is also a part of me dropping back is the difference from paying a guy at 3 who might not necessarily be the third best player versus paying him at 6 or 7 allows you to re-sign Yabusele and Grimes and some of these other guys that you might want to keep around for another year. That difference that difference in pay makes a huge difference in what your roster looks like too.
I mean, maybe
listen, if we're with all due respect, I'm just going to play the other side then here and aggressively. Like I hear everything you guys are saying.
Nothing less.
I hear everything you guys are saying. Right? I don't like that Chrome was just swayed that easily. Quick heel turn there. But you guys,
Chrome for nothing.
Like, think about what you're saying though. You're assuming it's a perfect world, right? And the perfect world is you're going to still get your guy at 7 or 8,
right?
And then a perfect world is you're going to get an unprotected pick back, which is crazy talk in this league. Okay, It's crazy talk. A lot of teams don't want to give those up. And it's just
we did it.
We're a bad organization. Okay. So, but the problem I have with it, you can't like 3 or 4 guys. That's not how this process works. It's not. You have a board. And there's no way that these guys who spend this much time in player evaluations have guys the same. They just don't. It's not the way it works. You're going to have guys that you have ranked higher than other guys. So then you're settling. That's the problem. You think, oh, there's not that much. And then you don't have a guy. Then I have a problem with that. Because you can get a home run at 3. You might not get that home run at 7 or 8.
Historically in the NBA draft, the number 3 draft spot has been very, very lucrative to teams.
It can be, right? Like
it has been historically. I mean, Jordan was
It has. I mean, some of the greats for sure.
But this year's 3 is so different because normally there's a top 3 guys where then there's a fall off at 4. Historically in drafts, it's normally how it works. Now it's a fall off at 2. And 3 is just like a crapshoot of like there might be 3 guys that are all looked at in the exact same order. It just depends on your organization and your team. And when I look at Ace Bailey, it scares the shit out of me because he's a guy where I feel like if we pick him, we are so not the right fit that I just don't know if it's going to work out. But that being said, if we pass up on him and he goes to Charlotte and he goes to Utah and one of those teams where he can just jack shit up, I think there's a damn good chance he can develop into a star. And then 5 years from now, we're going to be like, what the hell? So I see both sides of it. It's just like a lose-lose with Ace Bailey because you have all these old guys with all these uncertainty, injury, I'm playing, I'm not playing, contractually. There's just so much uncertainty within our organization. I don't know if we can be the team to take on the polarizing player that is Ace Bailey. That doesn't mean he can't go on and be a star somewhere else. It just sucks that we have to have the third pick and we have to make this decision because we're in such a unique spot. And I don't think that this gels right.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think. See, there's a lot of factors into that, though, right? Like you would think if the Sixers were smart and maybe not going to take Ace Bailey, you'd think they would.
We're projecting a lot there.
I'm saying, like, yeah, you're right. You would think, like, to drive his price up, like they would put out, a little bit more of an impression as opposed to being like, well, you know what? I mean, he's kind of in the mix of three guys who we don't see a huge difference. So to me, that's a flag right there. And then on the flip side, if that's really the impression they're putting out, you talked about some of the other teams. Why can't you trade back to a Utah? If there's 3 or 4 guys that are the same, you really could trade back to a Utah, potentially get the same player and maybe acquire an asset. But to Tommy's point too, right? Like I'm very specific in how I'm open to this. And and you're right, Tom. I'm looking at in a perfect world, we're getting this probably unprotected pick extra and plus maybe a pick this year in order to move one of those really, really difficult contracts. And I don't see that happening. That's the way I would be swayed. But I mean, again, I don't think that's realistic. So I make the pick.
I'll go the other way. Like I don't want the unprotected pick to be moving somebody. I want the unprotected pick then to draft somebody. I'm not doing it to think about ways out of contracts. Those contracts will come to an end one day, right? And then I'll pay the guys that I drafted. That's how it works. So I'm not looking at, moving on, great. If you can figure that out, sure. But why do I want to pass up on possibly a generational talent and not knowing what those picks are, right? And I trade, an unprotected pick to move on from a deal, and that pick ends up being landing at number 1, and we'll just say Charlotte gets it, and that's a generational talent. Right?
Let's just
for sure.
But let's just say, right? Like, we're playing fantasy draft here, but if you could get an unprotected pick, who's to say you can't take that and package that with an Embiid and maybe make some kind of a reasonable presentation in Milwaukee to go get, a Giannis, which I would do 1,000 times over. I trade both picks and Embiid to get Giannis.
My first call, if we're talking Embiid trade, which we don't have to talk about this for a while because it's not going to happen. I mean, my first call is the Lakers. They're always desperate to make a move. They are in dire need of a big man. And I feel like they're the team that's vulnerable right now to make that big trade at the end of LeBron's career, et cetera.
Who do you want? Who do you want from them? That
I don't even think that you would have to give up so. Well, they have a lot of expiring contracts, which is obviously very enticing to us. You'd have to take on a lot of different players, though, is the one problem, and probably have to include a third team. Really complicated. But I think in terms of not giving stuff up on top of Embiid, I think that is the best destination spot right now in terms of the team just being like, we want Joel Embiid, not we'll take on Joel Embiid for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the unprotected pick you probably get is 3 years, 4 years away.
Unless it's Washington. Unless you trade with Washington, and I think they have like 16 or something like that, so you can trade, you can get back in.
Yeah, Washington has 2. Spurs the Jazz have 2, I think.
Yeah.
Not that you're going up to 2. And let's be frank, too. This all comes to a halt if Seattle or San Antonio takes Ace, right? I mean, if Dylan Harper's on the board, that you run that clock, you run that card up.
That ain't gonna happen.
It ain't happening. But to me, that's my only guy I'm taking at 3.
I keep telling you, I don't know. I think if you believe everything that comes out of camps, I think then you're already fooled in this process, right? If you believe what everybody tells you, I think we get fooled because no good poker player puts their cards on the table in these situations. right? They play it like, yeah, I like this guy. I like this guy. I like this guy. I got like a bunch of different guys. Like that's how you're supposed to play it, right? I told you a month ago that nothing's a guarantee. Like assume it's a fit. Okay, Dylan Harper, yeah, they like him. Is it really a fit for what they're looking for?
No, but that goes back to Ace Bailey, and that's why if Ace Bailey was that good, they wouldn't consider picking Dylan Harper. They would
We
just
don't
pick
know
Ace
who
Bailey.
they're considering picking because they didn't pick yet.
I mean, it's pretty obvious who they're going to pick. Like, it's out there. And honestly, I don't even think that they're going to pick him. I think they're going to trade the pick, and whoever they trade with is going to pick him. But that just goes to show you how
Out
much
there
better,
where, though? Like, where's it out there?
What do you mean? Like, just news and, like, it out there being like, these are the top 2 guys in the draft. And then there's a huge gap, and then there's 3 to 5. And then there's a little gap, and then, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's out there. And the Spurs are not dumb enough as an organization historically to pick the 3rd, 4th, or 5th best player second in a draft that has 2 high-end talent guys amongst the rest. Like, they're not going to do it. And that goes back to my point.
Unless they believe the other guy has more upside.
But they don't. No one thinks that in the NBA, which goes back to my Ace Bailey point.
This is my argument. You're saying they don't because a beat writer reported they don't. They didn't report they don't.
No. All right.
Like this is where I'm playing this devil's advocate with you because you're so stuck on there's no chance that they draft anybody but Dylan Harper. All I'm saying is until that pick is in, a lot can happen. And a lot what we think we know doesn't happen on draft nights. A lot what we assume and what we're told through Twitter and through beat reporters and the rest don't necessarily always come to fruition. That doesn't mean the number 1 pick isn't known because that's a different conversation, right? That team can put their cards on the table. In the NFL, they usually do. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do in the NBA. Sometimes they don't. I think Dallas made it very clear, but they only brought his name up 7 times after they got the pick. So they made it clear to us. My argument to you, and it's not even an argument, it's just I haven't heard one person in San Antonio come out and say, Dylan Harper's our guy.
Because they're going to trade it. That's what they're trying to do.
Maybe they try to, but again, we talked about how messy it is to try to make trades on NBA. It is. God. Maybe I missed it, but how many?
Oh, we got to get.
How many?
Wow.
How many times is one?
God bless the internet.
I'm sure that was great, Tom. I didn't hear any of
it. You cut out.
Great. Yeah, me either. So I don't even know what I said. So I don't even know what I'm arguing. But I'm arguing that I feel like in the NBA draft, there's not as much moving and shaking in the top 5, right? In lotteries, as much as other sports can have it happen. Like the NFL, like sometimes nothing happens, right? And then sometimes like, holy shit, did the whole top 10 make a deal? Right. So I mean, I guess it can be year to year and maybe the same thing in the NBA. I just don't recall tons of moving and shaking when you got like the number 2 pick of the draft. Like, I don't remember many teams trading that for like a proven player on draft night or leading up to it. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't remember it. Somebody tell me. I'm sure there is. I'm not saying there isn't.
The Cavs traded for Kevin Love when they got the first pick all those years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's happened before, but the other thing and the reason why I disagree with you is because Cooper Flagg exists. Cooper Flagg is so good that, yes, he's taking up the number 1 pick in the draft, but he's so good. Let's pretend like he doesn't exist in this draft class. Say he gets picked next year or the year before this year. Dylan Harper is the number 1 pick in the draft 10 times out of 10 in every single mock draft that would come out. He's that good. So that's why it's being looked at that way. Is because he is that good. He's just not as good as Cooper Flagg.
One more argument.
That's why.
One more argument. That all that projected mock shit is written by sheets. Is written by guys that aren't executives in the league. These mock drafts come from all different resources and sources. They're not from the teams themselves. Like, yes, maybe everybody thinks Dylan Harper's the best, right? I guarantee that I'm almost going to stand, but you got me so on the other side right now with this, Luke, for some reason. That
I'm willing to
stand
put a
that
wager
they're not
on this.
taking Dylan Harper. Like,
All right.
I almost feel like Ace Bailey is their pick. I don't know why I felt this way because it fits on what they're looking for.
I feel like that's going to be the pick too.
I just got this weird
my
vibe
God.
that like you probably know way more than this shit than I do.
Let's talk it into existence
but I
then.
just have I have a weird vibe that we get Dylan Harper. I don't know why. I felt it from the second it happened because when we first started these conversations, remember, I don't think anybody knew who 2 was. And as it's going on, to your point, Luke, it's more defined, right, by mocks and stuff. But I don't think NBA guys, if you put a gun to their head right now, maybe know who the second best player is. Because a lot of these guys fall in love with what a guy can be. And a lot of these organizations, you know it, they believe in their player development so much that he's going to get to his ceiling. I don't know. I'm trying to talk it into a little existence. So.
Hey, Luke, quick question for you.
Yeah.
So Rutgers basketball last season, they have 2 guys who are probably going to be picked in the lottery, right?
Yep,
in Harper
absolutely.
and Bailey.
Not probably. They will be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yep.
How the fuck did they lose 17 games?
I mean, they had a really bad roster, but I think this,
by a mile.
I think this also goes to show like the Ace Bailey thing too. Like if you watch a lot of their games, a lot of the times it's Dylan Harper eating up the ball because they don't have a much offensively. Mm-hmm. And then it leaves kind of Ace in that weird spot, which I don't really know if he was a great fit next to him. And I wouldn't say struggle because he's still going to be a top 5 pick in the draft undisputedly. But that brings me to here. It's like, how is that going to work here? So when you talk to me about a guy who has these clear weaknesses in Ace Bailey, let's just assume Harper goes 2 because let's just say it that. Okay. If you look at Ace Bailey and he has all these clear weaknesses, to me, when he joins the Sixers in year 1 and probably year 2, because of how bad the 2 contracts are on our team, those weaknesses are going to be spotlighted 100%. So you're betting on, as your organization, that he is going to shorten those weaknesses to such a level to where I look at VJ and his weaknesses won't really be put on much of a spotlight at all on this team. Like people like, oh, he can't create his own shot. Explain to me, in the best version of this team for the next 2 years, in what world would VJ Edgecombe create his own shot? I don't know. So it's hidden more. And then I also look at him playing next to Tyrese Maxey for presumably the next 10 years. I love that. Guys flying up and down the court. VJ Edgecombe is built to play with a guy like Tyrese Maxey. So when you look at the 2 prospects, I'm not saying I like one a lot better than the other. I just think looking short term, the one guy is a much better fit, can log you 20 to 25 minutes every single night, and I think bodes well for his development a lot more on our team. Now, if Charlotte was at 3, I'd be like VJ Edgecoming everyone to death because Charlotte and Utah are 2 teams that could really use an Ace Bailey. We're not one of them. So that's what makes this whole thing kind of weird.
Well, when you look at the Sixers window, let's face it, at least for Joel Embiid, the window is pretty short. I mean, his knees are obviously already breaking down, and, he's probably not long for his career here. So if you want to have any shot at trying to speed up the quote-unquote rebuild here, I would say Edgecombe. To your point, I'd say Edgecombe is a much better fit.
Well, he better be. He signed through like the next millennium, right?
I'm checking it literally right now.
Next 5 years, Joel's going to be here, so we better hope that window's still there.
He's signed through 29.
Yeah, 5 years.
He's got a player option for 29. 28, 29.
Well, yeah, but
they'll opt out of that.
Yeah, but does that necessarily mean he's going to be on the court the next 5 years? I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Listen, if DeAndre Jordan can still be getting out on the court, Joel will find a way to get on the court to make his bag.
Tony Bradley was walking on. He's playing in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. We're on the same team as TJ McConnell.
Oh my God!
And we haven't even made
Tony
it's
Bradley.
unbelievable. We haven't even made it there.
Good old TJ.
TJ's balling too.
Somewhere Wilson's throwing down a shot to TJ.
Oh, I miss TJ.
I mean, but I guess if you want to talk trade down, I think the most realistic one you could put on paper is Brooklyn at 8. So would you trade 3? It would have to be Kelly and Drummond just for money. So 3 Kelly and Drummond for 8 and Cam Johnson.
And doesn't Brooklyn have 3 picks? Don't they have 19
Yeah,
and
so I don't know.
27?
That's the question. Is Cam
So can you
Johnson enough to where you don't have to trade the other first? Or
I need a second first there.
Because I think there's
if I'm
like
the Sixers.
I think it's 26 or 27.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
not
100% not moving out of that if I'm not getting an additional first round pick back.
100%. You need the extra pick and Cam Johnson. 100%.
Yeah, and I don't want the second of their picks, so they can miss me there.
Yeah, no,
too.
I want a lottery pick that they're guaranteed to be in.
Yeah, what's their next pick? 16.
I think it's 19 or 27. Let me look it up just to make sure.
19.
Hackathon's right here.
19.
No,
I'll
thank
take
you.
19 then.
19 and 27.
Yeah, maybe if you give me both of them and Cam Johnson, I can have a conversation.
Because now you're looking at, if you're looking at 8, you're talking maybe Khan if you're lucky. Derek Queen, Fears. I think that's where you're looking at 8.
I'm back to not loving it because I'm back to hoping.
Kniples potentially.
Potentially, that's the problem. A lot of potential, potentially there. So somebody gets cute and takes them 2 picks early.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're talking like fantasy, right? Who says we can't get Sonny Weaver Jr. and jump from 8 back to 6 with those 2 picks we picked up for Brooklyn?
You could. Yeah,
just got Cam Johnson out of it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could.
Well, no, you get Cam Johnson, you trade up to 6, then you get, Trey Johnson or Knipple, right? It's more guys that you might want, right?
I love where your head's at. You know what I mean?
All right, allow me to be the guy. Since no one else will be the guy, I'll be the guy. Let's look at let's look at the East right now. Let's look at the East.
Let's try to look at it. Sure.
Tatum is out.
It's wide open.
It is wide
open next year.
It is wide open.
Hate to say it. Hate to see him die on the court.
Yeah, that's
loser.
The East is wide open. So if you have a team, and let's just exclude the old guys because they're probably not going to be healthy. So let's not even pretend like we're going to act like they're going to be healthy. If you just have McCain, the number 3 pick, or maybe the number 8 pick, and Cam Johnson, Maxey, Adem Bona, Justin Edwards, you're just rounding off all these guys. I think that alone, even regardless of what the 2 old guys give you, I think you're a top 5-6 team in the East right then and there because it's that wide open. And that's without MVP Joel Embiid and whatever the hell Paul George is going to give you. I think without those guys, they are a top 6 team in the East next year.
I think you might be out of your damn mind. And for me,
I really do.
For me to say that,
okay,
I mean, you have me until Bona and Justin Edwards. I was coming with you. I was rowdy troops, Luke. I was with you, and then you gave me Justin Edwards and Bona, and I'm like, oh my god,
that's how bad the East is, though.
The East is awful. It's so bad.
That's how bad. You are making it out to me right now.
It's
Boston.
Okay,
Boston.
Boston's still gonna be competitive.
Yes.
Right. Okay. New York's still gonna be good.
Yes.
Cleveland's still gonna be good.
All
right. Indiana's still gonna be good.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's 4. So
there's 4.
That's
but good. But good, not juggernauts, though.
Yeah. All these.
I don't know. Indiana looks pretty damn good.
Well, yeah.
We know they're bound to lose people.
Who else we got?
Indiana.
Well, then it's like, what is
And we know-
Detroit
I mean,
do? Is
Milwaukee's
Detroit
going to
better
lose
than you
Giannis,
next
right?
year?
Milwaukee's losing Giannis most likely.
Giannis will likely go to
Giannis
Giannis will likely go over to
To
the
the
West.
West.
But
I
then
like
you might be
Detroit
getting
a lot.
Durant back into the East.
I like Detroit.
Yeah,
a
but
lot.
Durant's 90.
Yeah.
Still
I think
can
the
play,
only
bro.
other team right now that you can really make a case for is Detroit.
Yeah, I like
Unless I'm
Detroit a
forgetting
lot.
somebody.
Detroit's
No.
really good too, and they're on the rise.
Miami, they're always Orlando, but like
Yeah.
again, they don't have enough offense. I'm just saying.
I think we
guys
saw who
alone,
Miami was.
I think we're a playing game. I mean, I
I said top
Oh,
6. I think
Yeah, I think
I
I
think-
think you're in that
I
like
don't know.
you're in that 5-6 range. I think.
are you?
Yeah, I think so. Again, the East is so bad.
I don't
It's
care.
so
That roster's bad. That
Okay.
roster's bad. Outside of the 3 players we named, what on that roster is equal to a top 5 seed in the goddamn Eastern Conference, regardless how bad they are? You need Tyrese Maxey to have an MVP caliber season.
you had the number 3 pick in the draft. You gotta hope he's something. I'm just saying, like, come on,
but
this
it's
guy could
something
be
I don't expect.
generational.
Okay, I got you. But
None of
I
those other teams have a top 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah, but this
still, I make the
organization,
pick. I don't
this
know.
this organization is not constructed for their number 3 pick to be somebody that you're relying on to be a huge.
Yeah, I know.
difference
We
maker.
we were saying in a world where we're excluding the 2 guys.
But
you
I
can't
know,
count
but
on them.
I know, but I'm saying next year, right? So if you're talking next year, I can't say, well, you have the number 3 pick. To me, that's out of the equation, it's not in the conversation. You got to look at the way that the roster is constructed now and who's going to be going and who's going to be coming. The way this roster is set up, even whoever they bring in is not going to be – I'd be shocked if they were a major, major contributor on this roster.
Oh, I think you're totally wrong on that. I think VJ Edgecombe could walk on the court tomorrow with those guys and start tomorrow. He would be the projected starter.
We're doing it wrong. If we want to play the hypothetical, how good can the team be? Okay, if Embiid is semi-healthy and Paul George is healthy, then yeah, we're gonna have the conversation about top 3 to 5 team in the East. But that's on those 2 guys, or at least one of them. Like Luke, if you told me one of them, like if you came to me and said, okay, one of those guys gonna be healthy all year, doesn't matter who, just say one of them, doesn't matter. Okay, for the sake of argument. And then number 3 pick, Maxey McCain. Okay, we got an opportunity to be a top 5 seed East. I'll buy into that game with you. But you take those 2 stars.
All right,
Corbin
my
out
fault.
of the
I'm with
equation.
you.
I need Tyrese Maxey to be Allen Iverson for a year, which maybe he can be.
Right?
Right? I'm never gonna bet
I'm
against.
not that surprised.
I will never bet against that kid. You guys
I
know
think
that.
he would.
So
I agree it's tough to
my
bet
God,
against
now
them.
Brian's
But,
got 2001 Iverson now.
I mean, I agree it's tough to bet against them. But at this point, Tyrese Maxey hasn't shown that if Joel Embiid is out of the lineup, that he can be the lead dog on this team.
Not yet.
So until I see it, I don't believe it. And I believe that he will get there, but we're not there yet. We haven't seen it at all. And in over 2 seasons, he's had a chance to prove it.
You're telling me KJ Edwards meaningful minutes, and I'm a 5 seed.
Their
Last year-
record,
last year was tough one.
That sounds like a process. That sounds like a process team.
No,
That sounds like
Justin Edwards.
I'm a top lottery pick. That's what I am.
Justin
top lottery.
Edwards. You know where Justin Edwards went to school?
Yeah,
they
Kentucky.
just breed NBA guys. That's
Yeah, I
all they
know,
do.
I
And
know.
the
Yeah,
fact that he wasn't drafted is a joke. He could have been drafted, but Calipari
I'm
told him
not
to
knocking
hold
Justin
out, wait
Edwards,
for Tyrese.
but you're giving me undrafted guys in year 2 and a 2nd round pick that like this roster. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm Kool-Aid up all day. You know, every year I find the way for the Sixers to be a top 3 seed in the East. Every year.
I'm sure by October you'll find a way, Tom.
I will. I guarantee it. You can write it down somewhere. Give the
This
date
team's
that
gonna
we
be
do the show
so
before the start of the
different in
season,
October.
and Tom
Yeah,
Arnone will have us the number 1 seed in the East. You know what I mean? I'll find a way. I will absolutely find a way. But I need to know who the pick is before I can start getting wild. Right? Like give me the pick, and I know who it is, and then I can get wild on where
once we have the pick, Tommy will have us on broad.
we'll be walking it that night. And I like Luke being, he's positive tonight, so it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
I just looked up some of the free agents, right? Indiana might lose Miles Turner.
Oh,
I think he's restricted, right?
Yeah, he's gonna come back.
Or he's unrestricted. He's
Yeah,
unrestricted.
but they got the bird rights on him, so they can go over the He's not going to go.
We talked about Milwaukee, right? They might lose Brooke Lopez. It is what it is, right? Al Horford's also unrestricted. Cavs might lose potentially Ty Jerome. Again, these are lower guys, but guys that were healthy for them, Malik Beasley in Detroit. So, yeah, I mean, the teams could look a lot different than what we're seeing right now, right? And again, like you guys have mentioned, we're seeing the best version of the Indiana Pacers that we've seen in years. You know what I mean? I know they went there last year, but they weren't this good last year.
And no, not this good.
No, I heard something.
Did you say they're not this good?
They're not. They're playing at a high level right now, but they weren't.
Oh, I disagree. I think this team is going to be. I couldn't disagree more. I think this team is absolutely there to stay.
Oh, yeah, that's a different. That's not what the conversation was. I didn't say they can't be there to stay. If I believe that they were this good, they're playing at an elite clip in the playoffs. They didn't play like that all year, though. That's not taking anything away from them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they haven't.
What a run. And sometimes it's Cinderella runs, right? But Halliburton wasn't as good as he'd been in the playoffs all year, which is maybe he's one of those guys. Light switch turns on.
He is one of those guys.
If you talk about performers.
I love Carlisle. I love what Rick's done for years.
Very good head coach. Very underrated head coach.
Very underrated head coach. Always has his teams competing. They're rough. They're tough. They're physical. They play fast. I'm not saying they can't be there for years. I think they're playing over their head right now a little bit, right? But that doesn't mean they're not really good either, right? That's just my side with them. They didn't pass like any regular season eye tests that you would want to pass, but they sure as hell pass these tests. But anybody beats the Knicks, I want to fucking crown.
Yes.
So let's go. You spend all this money and you don't lose to Boston, you lose to Indiana. That's a shot in the face, and the fact that you had game one and it was over, and now you all know how it feels to have a bounce literally hit this top of the Statue of Liberty and drop in. Now you guys can eat it. When you guys were chanting sweep and the game wasn't even over, and now your ass is about to get sent home in 5. So at one point I thought maybe the NBA wanted Minnesota and Indiana. Minnesota and New York, because it makes sense. Like these two teams made a blockbuster deal in the offseason. Now you get the whole rev up of them facing each other. It would make sense revenue-wise more than Indiana. No disrespect, but Indiana and OKC.
No one's watching that finals.
Not big. I'll watch it.
That finals is going to be fucking amazing. It's going to be up and down. There's going to be 150 points.
Oh, it's going to,
New York, bigger markets, obviously.
I would advocate for people to watch these finals, obviously, if that's the case, because I think when you look at Shea, he's such an unbelievable superstar, but he doesn't get superstar recognition the way so many other players who I don't think are half as deserving as he is.
Here's the other guy that he's going to play.
And I'm looking at Tyrese as well. Like this is really, like, I think Anthony Edwards now is on that level for the most part, most fans, right? I think having those two teams and putting those two guys on that stage with how good these two teams are and the matchup that could be, I think honestly is what's best for the NBA going forward. Yeah, even if you take a little bit of a ratings hit now.
Yeah. And their ratings are already down, right? Those markets are
my only thing with the NBA is, there's markets small, and New York is New York, and Los Angeles is Los Angeles. But the NBA is the one sport where there are a large majority of the fan base are more fans of individual players than they are of teams. Yeah. So I don't think that small market hurts them as much as it would in the NFL and in MLB. So I think it's a different conversation.
They're worldwide.
But I'm saying their ratings are already down, and then you're going to throw these two. I don't say bad; they're not bad, but these two small markets. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
It might be a great one.
Even if you take a rating, say you take a ratings hit now, but you have an unbelievable series. That's like footage that they're going to be running for years to ramp up the popularity of these two players, and they're going to be able to have that series to talk about. Like they talk about
a rivalry in the Western Conference too, Chrome. To that point, like. Shea and Wiggins. I'm not Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
At least do that. Edwards
and Edwards,
right? Edwards are going to go after each other for a while. So that's a good one. In the East, the East is weird, obviously, just because of the Tatum injury. But you can make an argument that without Tatum, Jaylen Brown might have an MVP caliber year next year too. So, they might be right back in the Eastern Conference Finals as well, because how good I think he is as a player. So, but I don't think the NBA, like other sports, to Crone's point, needs the big market. They need the players. They need the star power. And I don't
they need
know.
to highlight those players.
They're getting it from their Western Conference team. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if they're getting it from the Eastern Conference team worldwide right now. Right? Naturally. They're just not, and it's okay. Like they would from a New York market. That's all. A New York market would obviously bring them more revenue than Indiana. But the NBA's gotten away with this for years. I mean, it's been Pacers, Bulls, and they've gotten away with smaller teams winning. They just have since the beginning of the NBA. Probably more than other sports, right? Because like baseball, it's always a big market. You might get the Kansas City Royals out of nowhere, right? Like, okay, they had a little run. You'll get these teams with little runs, but they can never sustain it, right?
Yeah.
So it's always the same bigger market teams, where the NBA for years, they haven't needed that, which credit to them. You know what I mean? They've always capitalized on their stars.
Right. But the problem with the NBA is that the common fan, it's more entertaining and more chaotic in the off season than it is during the regular season. I mean, let's just call it like it is. That's the problem with the NBA. They get more views on their talk shows and the radio in June and July when shit's going on and the draft and the free agency and this guy requested a trade, and like you're more invested in the personality than you are in the player. That's the problem with the NBA.
Yeah.
Right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw something from Shams the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or the other day. I think he was on McAfee, and he said that like executives think that this is going to be the craziest NBA offseason like ever. Like guys are going to be asking for trades. People are going to be shifting all over the place. Like we could talk about how weak the Eastern Conference is and, how open we think it is. All of this is moot until July when people are actually where they're going to be. And because I have no idea what's going to be happening.
They have player movement each off season anyway.
Right. Yeah. But like if Shams, who is again plugged in to like as much stuff as he is, and he's like, hey, this is going to be the craziest offseason of all time, then I'm going to believe that. Now, with Giannis potentially moving, like maybe, some blockbuster to get somebody else to the Lakers, like we just talked about, something like that to get these guys into, once again, bigger markets where guys are all spread out now. The NBA gets what they want anyway, where next year you got, Boston and Lakers again for some reason.
Well, I think that's like something we talked about on here before, right, Luke? Remember we talked about when Brian Windhorst brought up the different ceilings that are now coming up, how the structuring is going to be different. And part of that is to have the ability to break down this super team mentality and to spread the stars out amongst the leagues. So I think he said it was around this season, if I'm not correct, Luke, or if I'm correct, Luke, that this is the time we would see it. So it does make sense that this would be the off season where you see a lot more kind of big time movement than you normally would.
And that's the problem with Daryl Morey is it's not his ability to draft. I trust him with the third pick.
It's great with draft.
I don't trust his ability to build a team because he sees it in a world where it's 2016, 2017. How many stars can I build on this team right now? Whereas I'm looking at the two teams that are probably going to be in the finals. They have the two best teams in the league, meaning 1 to 10. They are the best teams in the league. They don't have three unbelievable stars. Now, 5 years down the line, Oklahoma City probably will, but right now they don't. So that's where I don't trust Daryl Morey because you're going nowhere contractually, financially, stability-wise at all, paying three guys $60 million. You're screwed in like what Chrome was saying. You're just totally screwed. But going back to like the NBA discussion, the offseason totally outplays the regular season and the postseason. And the lottery is a perfect example. Dallas had the opportunity to play into the playoffs and pull off. Probably they weren't going to do it, obviously, but they had the opportunity to pull off what Miami did a few years ago and pull off a Cinderella run. And then once you get snagged at that opportunity, 3 weeks later, you have the most generational prospect we've seen in X amount of years. Like, how does that happen? How can you have that and be like, all right, what do we do as a franchise? We're screwed or whatever. We're out of the postseason. To now 3 weeks later, you're set up for the next 10 years. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. You can't get both sides of that.
Exactly.
And you're basing it off of what? A play-in game? What if Dallas had won the play-in? Then one of those other teams drops out and they don't win 2 BS play-in games that you created, and now they have Cooper Flag? Like, that's absurd. That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
You're giving teams from 8 to 10 in the power rankings all this power to be able to have the ability to make the postseason or win the freaking lottery? Huh?
Well, how about come up with something like this? Any team that has less than 50 losses, they're excluded from the lottery.
Yeah, I was just you just have to show the lottery.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Of those that didn't make the postseason, so you're 45, so you're 42 loss, whatever. Orlando Magic. I'm just throwing a team out there. Okay, they missed out on the play-in by a game or two, but they don't get any ping pong balls.
And then they wonder why like teams like Washington are always in the lottery. They're not tanking; they stink because they have no. Yeah,
Right.
like they're like.
Bad.
I guarantee you, if you went up to Washington's ownership and were like, "Hey, you guys can make the play-in next year," they would be jumping for joy. They're not trying to lose; they stink. They've been trying to win for years.
They
So I don't
stink,
understand.
and they never get a high draft pick.
Right,
Like
so
a top
and
3 or 4
the
draft
NBA
pick.
puts them in
So
this
they're
position where they'll
never
be
able to draft a bona fide star to help resurrect.
How is that
their franchise.
fair? The lottery should be the 6 worst teams in the league. It should be the 3 worst teams from each conference. That's it.
But it's not.
Agreed.
And
They're
you can
trying
keep
to
your
search-
playing. You can keep your playing if you
But
want.
we're the reason that's not happening. It's because
Which
of the
is
process.
absurd.
I mean, the process has changed everything.
So I disagree with that principle because tanking's been around for years, right, guys? It's been around.
Nobody did it at the level that the Sixers did.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
right.
Like, threw it in your face.
And the Sixers are the only team that got punished for it. They're the only team that got punished for it. How many people are tanking right now?
Yeah. Back then, the only thing the Sixers did wrong was announce it. Right? Back then, the Timberwolves sucked every year. Right? Back then, there was other teams that if you go back and look at it, the Warriors sucked every year. They just lucked into drafting Steph. And Minnesota lucked out by drafting Johnny Flynn over Steph.
But
You know what I mean? Those teams were terrible for years. They just kept it under wraps and were like, oh, we'll just play that middling game and we'll just try and win. And
But
that
that's-
NBA purgatory.
Or look
That's
at what
the
the
point.
Spurs did towards the end of David Robinson's career to get the number 1 pick so they could take a Tim Duncan and so on and so forth.
Right, but again, that's probably Sam Hinkie's biggest mistake then, Greg. And we honestly, I saw it tweeted out there. Somebody put it out there. If Sam Hinkie was still on this team, running this team, we would be the Thunder. And it's probably
100%.
true.
1,000%.
He was so sold on himself in the process that he
Force him out
just
for the homie.
very openly put it out there to everybody. And that was the mistake. You don't do that. There are certain things that are unspoken. And then there are things that you don't put out there because this is the kind of repercussions you get for it, which is why it was unspoken for so many years. And the Sixers were morons and put it out there in front of the world. And now this is what you have now because everybody started looking at tanking more.
Yeah, but they even since then though they've adjusted. They just adjusted it 5, 6, 7 years ago to where like the last 7 years the team with the worst draft pick, the worst record hasn't gotten the number 1 pick. So they after all of this, after all what the Sixers did, then they came back and retinkered the lottery and how it works. Like.
Well, then they had more
you can
teams
go-
that were tanking, which is also why they added the play-in, because more teams were then tanking to increase their chances of getting that top pick.
I mean, now the lottery is like a TV show. You tune in and you have no idea what's going to happen. It's absurd. There's no real life component to it.
It's insane. Like again, we've discussed this. We literally just talked about it. It's absurd that the Dallas Mavericks were able to get the number 1 overall pick. They were literally. They should have been. They should have like, realistically. If Anthony Davis
they have like a less than 1% chance of getting
it's something insane. Realistically, if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt, they're playing in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs. It's not even a question, right? They're in the playoffs. But now they get lucked into a dude who's just a generational prospect, and it looks like the NBA is fixed because you traded Luka Doncic for literally nothing. It looks like it's fixed, right? It's absurd. It's actually insane. So, like, I love the idea of shortening the lottery, right? If you're in the play-in tournament, you're not in the lottery. Say there's the worst 10 teams in the league or whatever it is. Cool. Right. You're in the lottery. Great. Because, like, I don't think you can make it 6. I don't think that's fair. You could probably make it like the top 10 or the bottom 10. And, like, all right, hey, you have a chance, right? Like, and then you just break it down.
I'd say anybody with 50-plus losses, they're in. Anybody 49 and under, out.
And the team that won that play-in tournament is Memphis. They got absolutely spanked every single game in that Thunder series.
Yeah, it was.
And then that's the reward they get for winning that game. Mm-hmm. Dallas loses it, and they get Cooper Flag. Huh? What is that even? That makes no sense. Like, that's the league right now. That's a joke.
Yeah. And there's a reason why these teams like that I mentioned earlier in Utah, Washington, like that they're just so bad all the time. Because even when they're bad, they don't have a guarantee that they're going to get a top 3 pick, right? They might, right? Like then they might get a guy who's good, but then they're still bad for the next 4 years, and he signs somewhere else in free agency, and it's a revolving door all over and over and over and over again.
What did Washington just have? They had 2 guys in the All-NBA rookie first team. They won 15 games and they had 2 guys in the first team that are All-NBA rookies. How does that compute?
The one time they get a top 3 pick, it's like it's totally looked at as the worst draft class of all time.
Yeah,
and so now it's like, they're trying to lose again. No, they just suck. Oh they stink. They don't have any talent.
Yeah, it's just a revolving door. Like the Wizards had talent. They had John Wall. They had Bradley Beal, but they didn't win anything. I don't even know if they ever won a playoff series. They were in the playoffs. And I go Bradley Beal's this star or whatever. Like, okay, cool. John Wall, again, really good. Ended up getting hurt. Sucks. But like those Washington's a big market. Theoretically, the NBA should want them to be good. They've been terrible for decades. Just so bad. I don't remember a time when they were good.
Correct me or if I'm wrong. I think the last time Washington made the playoffs, the Sixers bounced them in the first round.
That is correct.
Yes.
Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal.
Oh, yeah. Westbrook got fucking popcorn dumped on him. That was great.
That was like, I don't even remember.
Good times.
That was the year we lost to Atlanta with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I blocked that out. I was at Game 7. I would block that one out.
Real.
Yeah.
Slamming down some loggers. Here, Russell, you want some popcorn?
Wild stuff.
What a mess.
Yeah, just absolutely whatever. Just give me the draft. Let me see what happens. I'm excited. Because again, all this is in theory here. Let me see some moves. Let me see some draft picks. Let me see the drafts on or the trades on draft night where somebody drafts somebody that he's actually already been traded to this other team, and he's going to this team in a 3-team deal, and like he wears like 3 different hats on draft night. Like, I love those.
That's really fun.
Those are my favorite.
We're officially a month out.
Great.
Outstanding.
I mean, yeah, you could see something like that's actually a good point you brought up because a few years ago when the Luka for Trey trade, I think we're in a pretty unique spot where something like that could happen again, where a team loves Ace jumps up to 3 and we drop down to 5 or 6. It's not that steep of a drop off because I don't think Trey was much far after him. I don't really remember.
I think Luca was. I think it was 3 and 5, maybe 3 and.
I
6.
know Luca was 3.
I think it was 3 and 5, if I remember right. Let's look.
I mean, speaking of Trey, he's another guy that might be out of the Eastern Conference or at least move this year or this offseason.
Yeah, could. Definitely could.
I know, because I know I've seen
number 3 for number 5 and a protected first.
Deal. I'm in.
That was
If
the
it's like
trade
if it's like
in
top
2018.
if it's like top 3 protected or something, I'm in.
That's going to be great, right? Like if that happens, right, we draft Ace, right, for who's 5? Washington, right?
No, there's 6. I think 5.
So Washington is
five's Utah.
Utah,
Utah.
right? So on draft night, they announce Ace. The fan base just goes bananas. Just goes
the
bonkers.
Israeli people will be having heart attacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
30 minutes later, we trade for VJ Edgecombe at 5.
Love it.
Or,
I would love
Trey
it
Johnson
so
at 5.
Oh my God, I would be
be
up here.
perfect.
We'd be having a parade.
That would be
Yeah. Well, I think
All for
5
that.
is more
Let's
likely
speak that into
Trey
existence.
Johnson. Really.
Trey Johnson. Yeah.
That'd be great. I would love that so much. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah. Boys, I'm going to call it a night. Have a good week.
All right, man.
So, yeah.
And, oh, you too.
See you, Noah.
Yeah, brother.
Yep.
All right. Good stuff here.
Fire up the trade machines. Let's go. Let's see what we
I'm
can.
in. Let's do it.
What we can draw up.
I'm so in. It's my favorite part of the NBA offseason.
Right. It's more entertaining than the regular season.
It 100%
that's the
is.
problem. That's the problem.
100% is.
Yeah.
Well, God forbid I want to watch 82 games every night locked in, plus another 3 months of watching the playoffs because that's how long it takes.
I'll do it, but I understand.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love
like
to. I'd love to be able to do it when we're good. It'd be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Sixers. Don't get me wrong, man, but it's been brutal. Like, oh yeah, another second round exit. Oh yeah, another second round exit. Oh wait, sick. We make the lottery. Oh cool, we get the third best player when there's a 2-player draft. Can't wait.
I mean, I just think the city's cursed, right? I mean, the Flyers lose out on Patrick Kane by coin flip, and we get stuck with JVR.
Yep.
We draft Ben Simmons, and he turns out to be a kitty cat. Markelle Fultz turns out he can't shoot. Right, something happens. The year John Wall is the clear number 1 pick, we got to draft Evan Turner.
Yep.
I mean, part of it is just pure,
if you want to twist the
pure
knife
luck.
a little bit more, Patrick Kane scored a Stanley Cup winning goal against us.
Clinched the Stanley Cup against us. Absolutely.
Oh God, I love how that game was in Philly and nobody knew the goal went in. Nobody. Nobody else. It was actually insane.
Everybody's like, "What just happened?" Was that Michael Layton? What a bum.
I think so. Yeah. Was it him or was it Boosh?
I think it was Michael Layton.
Was it him?
It was Layton.
Yeah. Damn.
Could be worse. We could be the pre-Iverson Sixers. With the Eric Montroses and Doug Overtons and Mark Davises of the world.
Tough times too.
Those are some good times too.
That's before my time.
Yeah, it's before all your guys' time.
Well, we were all so young.
What was it? Iverson was 96, right? I was born when Iverson got drafted.
96,
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Good Lord.
Hey man, I got the black Iverson jersey in my closet right now.
I think I still have one somewhere. Yeah.
Up until we got rid of a bunch of stuff in my parents' old house, I still had my Tim Thomas jersey. Black Tim Thomas, yeah.
Oh.
I think I had a Keith Van Horn too.
You would have a Keith Van Horn jersey.
That's awesome.
I was a high sock shooter, baby. Let's go.
You would have a Keith Van Horn jersey. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Hey,
no Sharon Wright. No Sharon Wright.
No Sharon Wright. No Sharon Wright. No, I think I had a Weber. I definitely had a Derek Coleman.
DC.
DC was my boy. I still love Derek Coleman. There wasn't much to get excited about back in those days, and
No,
DC was one of those dudes, old school, just bullied everybody around.
we were. It was slim pickings for rooting interest back in
Sure was.
in the late 90s,
Sure.
mid to late 90s.
Who was the one that ended up? He played for us, and then he ended up quitting basketball, and then he pitched for the Orioles. Hendrickson.
Well, you might have. I don't know that one.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's a trivia question. Well done. Dump me on that one.
Let's look at the
Mark Hendrickson.
The 95-96 Sixers, 18-64.
Yes. Let's go down memory lane.
Oh my God, I don't know half these guys. Derek Alston.
That means it's who was it?
Derek Alston. Never heard of him.
Alston.
Sean Bradley. I've heard of.
Yeah.
Mike Brown, the coach. Mike Brown.
Wow, what a name.
Derek
don't
Coleman.
think so. DC. My favorite Jimmy line on
Richard Dumas.
quote when they asked him about drafting Sean
Gary
Bradley.
Stackhouse.
I mean,
There you go.
He's tall. He's really tall. That's all he said.
He's tall.
That's literally all he said.
There
He's
you
tall.
go.
Maybe he's the
He's
problem.
really
Maybe
tall.
we got to get him off TV. Maybe that's the
The
problem.
werewolf.
Awesome.
Maybe
you go.
he's the issue.
Mark Hendrickson, drafted by the Sixers in 96, same year as Iverson. 96, 97, second round, 31st overall pick. He played for us 1 year, played a year in Sacramento, a year in New Jersey with the Nets, a year in Cleveland, another year with the Nets, left. Then he went to Major League Baseball and he pitched from 2002 to 2011. He's actually a pretty good pitcher, I remember.
SJM picked it out.
Toronto, Tampa, Dodgers,
Marlon
Marlins,
Hill,
Orioles.
George Lynch. Oh yeah, good names.
Oh, I mean, those were that was when they
Oh
were
my
fun.
God.
Lou
Tom
Wilkins still probably drop
Thibodeau
buckets.
was
KZ.
an assistant coach in that 95 team.
Oh my God, was he?
Yeah, Tim Maurice Cheeks and Ron Adams.
Lou Will could probably still come off the bench and drop 10 a night.
Easy.
Lou Will,
Easy.
100%. Love me some Lou Will.
See, that's when they were fun. I mean, we're going back to like Jeff Hornacek and
Larry
Scott,
Hughes.
Scott Skiles.
Good old Larry Hughes. That's not the Hornacek era, but Larry Hughes.
Hey, we took Larry Hughes over Paul Pierce.
We did.
Sick, dude. Love that.
It's a great one. Kyle Korver.
Love me some Kyle Korver.
He was a
Talk
great
about-
pick.
Yeah.
He had a damn
He was
good
great.
career. He was good for us.
Yeah, amazing career.
The
Didn't
only,
play-
the,
Didn't
The
play
only
a damn
problem-
bit of defense, but
the only problem that Billy King did is he maxed contract both Kyle Korver and Willie Green. Like that's how dread of
really great.
assets we were, that you had to max contract those two guys, and it just sent you in just a spiral that we just obviously still have yet to recover from.
I remember a full year's worth of us being rumored of giving Dion Waiters a max. And I'm like, all right, I'm down. Because we had no one better than him. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Slamming Sammy Dallenberg.
Hey, Sam D wasn't too bad. He
Todd
wasn't good.
McCullough.
Wasn't too bad.
I met Matt Geiger back in the day.
Matt Geiger, that's a good name.
I think I have a Matt Geiger autographed card somewhere.
I was at a weird down in the lower level, and he threw a shoe at somebody. Like they give him a shoe, just one shoe, not both of them. He just threw one shoe.
Well, like maybe he threw one and then he threw the other one the other way. Like, yeah, here's
Could
another
have,
one.
yeah. I don't remember, but
Hey.
definitely could have.
I've seen that before. Like some guy will like sign a shoe, he'll throw it, he'll sign a shoe, throw another one, something like that.
Dana
Yeah.
Barros was another good one, Greg.
Ooh, Dana Bucket. Dana Barros.
Him and Hersey Hawkins. I was always a Hersey Hawkins guy.
Love me some Hersey.
Ironically enough, though, look at how many of these names we list, and the best part of
John
their career.
Salmons.
That's a good one. The best part of their careers came after they left here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's everyone in the
Always.
league. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Kenny Thomas, that was a good one.
Raja Bell and Armin Gilliam. Oh my God, I heard all these
Dude, even Raja Bell had a really good career. You know, especially when he went to Phoenix, he ended up being a baller.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
That's funny.
dude, the fucking
Vernon Maxwell.
Korver played 5 years here, then he played 12 other years elsewhere. That's incredible. One-time All-Star, 2014 Atlanta Hawks. Remember that?
I'm like,
the entire team in the All-Star team.
I love the chat just throwing names out. There you go,
Yeah,
Nick
that's perfect.
Vucevic. I would take Vucevic back.
I would have taken him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
He's
maybe
getting
3
traded
years
this
ago.
summer, I think.
He probably is. And Andre Miller. I liked Andre Miller.
Yeah.
I just didn't want him for Iverson, right? Like,
Remember
Terrible.
Jason Richardson at like 40?
yeah.
He
Yes.
couldn't even move. Yeah.
Oh my god, who was the
You know,
know.
he's
I don't
still
know.
playing.
I don't
He's
know.
still playing in that 3-on-3 league.
Yeah.
Who is-
Is he still playing there?
I saw that. Yeah.
That's
He's
still
insane.
playing.
Who was-
He's got to
Coutinho
go up
Him-
against his
guy we
kid.
got from, like,
Coutinho
Him
Mobley.
and Amir Johnson is on one of the teams. too.
Amir's in there. Yeah. There's a couple of Sixers that are on there that literally played through the process years.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, I wonder what Tony Roten's up to nowadays.
Oh, good old Tony. Ish Smith.
I'd
What
love
a
to see
legend
Smith.
he was.
Is he still hanging around?
No,
he
he retired.
probably
I think he
is,
retired
probably.
2 years ago. I think it was a big deal. Now
Yeah.
they showed the other night of DeLon Wright. He plays for the Knicks.
Yep.
Didn't even know he was on the Knicks until 2 nights ago. He checked in for the first time. He's been on 10 teams the last 10 years. How is that
Good
even
for him.
possible?
I forgot
How
Landry
is that?
Shamet is on that team.
Who?
Landry
Ish
Shamet is on
Smith
that
Oh,
played
yeah,
43
Landry.
games last year
Yeah.
for Charlotte.
He
Ish Smith,
last year?
43
Oh, he
games.
retired
Yeah,
last
last-
year.
Yeah, so he didn't play this year.
He
Last year.
retired last year.
Here's one for you, Greg. Rex Walters.
2023
Oh,
NBA
Rexy.
champion. Smith.
What a great little memory.
Trip
little
down memory
stroll
lane.
memory lane, you know? And you could totally see the generational difference between us and our names we throw out and the names they're throwing out.
Yeah. Definitely.
This is making me honestly feel a lot different about having the third pick. Like, why not just draft someone that's going to have a 15-year NBA career like Kyle Korver?
Somewhere else.
Like Con Knipple
Yeah,
is going.
he'll be here for 3
Con
years. We'll trade him for nothing, and then he'll be a stud. Perfect.
Yeah, Con Knipple is going to play in the league for 10, 12 years.
Well,
I'm 1,000% confident in
I
that.
mean, Spellman's been blowing his load all over in the chat over.
I mean, I like it. The guy's going to play a long career. I'm certain of it. So at what point are you just like, all right, I'll take a guy who'll be on my team the next 12 years. Why not?
Yeah, Spells has been glazing him all over in the chat the whole show.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I think there'll be
I
a
don't
lot
want him
more
at 3,
angry
but,
people
like,
than
if we
me if
trade
they
back,
pick him
I'd
at
take him
3.
at 7. Next one.
I'm Team Con.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
Now this chat is literally like, it's literally like the memes of you know what guys like to do for fun? Just name random athletes for hours. This is what we're doing today. I'm totally
It's like-
cool with it. I love
It's
it.
like who can throw out the most random name and hey, but listen, you guys got a little education on Hendrickson there, Mark Hendrickson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a trivia question that I didn't know.
There you go.
I just remember him pitching for Baltimore. I was like, didn't that dude play for the Sixers? And I remember looking it up and I was like, oh shit, it is the same guy.
That's actually crazy. Good for him. How athletic he is to be able to do that. That's awesome. Good for him.
He actually had a really, really good MLB career. He was a bullpen pitcher, I think.
Mhm. Say Joe. I
That's a
miss
good
that
one.
Joe. I
Speedy
still miss that
Claxton.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe's a great one. You just
Dude,
lighten it up, man. Lighten it
Again,
up.
there was no reason to get rid of him.
I loved our
Just like
swaggy
the
Pete.
No, what do you
I
mean?
loved
We
our time
needed-
with swaggy
we
Pete.
needed Dwayne Dedman. Dwayne Dedman that year was bringing us to a final, and it was worth giving up Isaiah Joe. I would do it again. What are we doing?
So fucking stupid. One of the dumbest
What
moves I've
are
ever
we-
seen in my entire life.
What are we doing? I
Well,
don't
see,
think
what-
that guy played a lick of ball after that year. I think he was done.
See, guys, I think this is smart because we got 121 people across the platforms, by the way, subscribe, and follow. But we're setting a really low bar so we can create a little bit of excitement draft night no matter who they pick.
Perfect.
Yeah, right.
Can't wait.
You just got to remind people how awful it's been and that even though it's not good now, it's been a lot worse.
We say that, and then they traded for Kevin Durant, and we're back to square one. But
Then we're back screwed again.
yeah,
I just saw another great name put in here too.
The Sheriff. The Sheriff.
Do you remember?
Oh,
you remember Sega
Jesus.
Dreamcast?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, I had they had the NBA game off there. I used to literally, I don't know why. No matter what team I played as, I would always have Rodney Buford, and I would average like 35 points with Rodney Buford in the game. So random. I forgot he even existed.
He would go find the Sheriff. Oh, good old Sheriff.
Oh my God, MCW. And you guys remember when the Sixers sent out all their like season ticket information with MCW all everywhere, and they got traded the next day?
Oh, I got a good name for you, Greg.
That's so good. I do remember that.
I think these guys remember him too. Remember Nazir Muhammad?
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
absolutely.
Yeah,
He was Duke, right? Or was he
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
yeah, Kentucky.
Rodney Carney, good name. Jason Capone. Who the hell did Jason Capone play? Lavoy Allen, Temple's own. Hell yeah. Great
Jason
name.
Capono. I forgot about Headband.
Jason Capone. Where the hell did he go?
UCLA. If you're talking college, I don't know where he went after the Sixers.
I know he
saw-
played for a bunch of different teams.
I saw Rick Mahorn thrown in here. I've always been a massive Rick Mahorn guy. He was an old school Pistons guy. They needed him in this city.
Yeah.
I saw Hollis
Matt
Thompson back in the day for $4 a
Thompson.
pop.
Yeah.
It was absolute cinema, that guy.
Hey,
I
he was
thought
the
the
last-
way
he
he
was
shot
the
the
last-
ball,
He might still be the last Sixer to shoot 40% from three. Hollis Thompson.
he was inspiring. He made me feel like there was light at the end of the tunnel with Hollis Thompson.
I love it.
Somebody threw Matt Harpring in here.
Matt Harpring.
That's a good one. I remember, I remember being a kid and I went to Sixers camp. I was so pumped too. And like the year before, they had like Jerry Stackhouse there and this and that. I go and I get Doug Overton. I was like, what the fuck is this? I got Doug Overton and World Be Free. World Be Free.
Good old world.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But I'm like they always had Stackhouse or whoever like their top stars were. And the year I go, it's like Doug Overton, who was on might have been on a 10-day contract that season at that point. What is this shit?
Spencer Hawes, what a
Spencer
guy.
Hawes.
Yeah,
What a good
Spencer Hawes was decent, man. He was decent.
He was great. I'm like, we got our franchise guy. I don't know what everyone's looking at.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Here, let me look at this. Jared Bayless played for the Sixers. Jesus.
He did.
Oh my God, he used to get booed no matter what the score was because
He was
everyone thought he was
so bad.
overpaid. Yeah,
He was.
It was
so
another guy we
bad.
traded when we shouldn't have had to, or I think we attached a pick to him and we didn't have to because of
wouldn't
his
have been
expiring
surprised.
contract.
was he in the Jimmy deal?
Yes, or
He
part of
was?
it.
I
He
think
might
he
have
might
been.
have been a part of it.
I think he was. Yeah, I think we shipped him out. Here, where's this thing at?
I know
Here's
it was
a name I
Covington and Sarich for sure.
There's one I got it. I actually have a signed basketball by him. Terry Cummings.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, it was. So Bay was from
on that one.
Sixers to Minnesota for a multiplayer deal. Jimmy Butler and Justin Patton to the Sixers in exchange for Bayless, Rocco, Saric, and a 22 second round pick. Bayless was then traded to Utah.
That trade was unbelievable. That was the best trade in NBA. That was the best trade in the history of our team, I think. I don't even know if that's even close. All we had to do was keep the guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Who else? Sixers? Fucking Nick Stauskas was on the Sixers for a bit.
Sauce Castillo.
What a guy.
Dude, he was good.
Sauce
That's so
Castillo.
Who was the guy?
Blount.
Isaiah
got him?
Cannon.
Oh yes,
Isaiah
Cannonballs
Cannon was
for days. Let's
electric.
go.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? I already mentioned Tell You Right. That's great though. Who was the guy we got from like the Kings or something? And he played maybe half a season, and he got like MVP chance in one game. He was like a power forward or something.
Chris Webber?
No.
I don't know, but
It was
Bielitsa was like
processed.
rumored to be on our team for 10 years, and then he signed here and then decided to play in
And
Spain.
then he didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we got
remember
Willie
that.
Green, brother.
God damn, who was it? I'm looking for
Yeah, everyone going down memory lane with a hit that like.
Carl
Hit that like
Landry.
whatever platform you're on.
Carl
so the
Landry.
greatest Sixers trade of all
Carl
time
Landry.
right, was Moses
Yeah.
Malone. I mean,
Yeah,
they traded with Houston to get Moses Malone
brought the only
Yeah,
championship.
that worked out.
for Caldwell Jones and a first round pick of the '83 draft.
Good old Colwell
W.
Jones.
Absolute W.
That
All
Jimmy
right.
trade might be number 2.
Yeah, that was good. Apparently, it was a good one.
Who else we got?
Wow, that was fun.
Anyone care for Sixers or Eagles OTAs?
Makuba, my guy. My guy.
I haven't
Off
even
to a
paid
good
attention.
start.
I see the ESP tweets going out though with training OTA stats.
Oh Jesus!
Sick, dude.
No, that's fun.
Like, come on.
Those
That-
are meaningful
you wanna talk
drills
about
that
sheets? That
equate
guy's
to
a
real
fucking
NFL.
That guy
Yeah.
stinks. That guy stinks.
I might
Yeah.
be the A2D Makuba guy. I might take that as my title.
Is that going to be your son?
That might be my guy, Makuba. Big fan.
We all got sons. He can be yours.
Called it before the draft. Fact that they actually got him, I'll take it. I like him.
All right, that's your
Right.
son. Congratulations on becoming a dad.
I appreciate it. I've been waiting. It's only been 2 years here.
Passed out the
Finally got
stogies.
somebody.
Yeah, where's the stogie at?
I think he started today. He got first team rep. I saw it was Keely Ringo. He was really the only one that really split outside of safety. He split a lot with Adoree Jackson, which kind of expected.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyone else? I mean, the 2 linebackers didn't practice, so there's not really a lot to look at with that. You're probably just going to get Trot until Jihad's healthy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's not much to look at. Defensive line or right guard, I guess, is the other one. I think a rookie's going to start at right guard. I don't know if Steen's the guy.
Could be.
He could be.
I know, and again, this is all practice, right? But I know
Yeah.
Jordan Mailata was blowing those guys up.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
how just good and athletic all of them are,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's Kendall or the 2 tackles, Hinton and
Cam Williams is a stud. Like the
Dude.
fact that he fell to the 6th round, what is that? That doesn't make any sense.
I said that I said that right there. I was like, that might be Lane's replacement.
I
right?
was just
You know
going
what
to say that. I don't want to put too much pressure on the guy, but he has that kind of potential to where a 6th round pick is a no brainer.
And I know,
I was
I
kind of
mean,
eyeballing
it's
him in
not
the 2nd round.
and I know
Ooh.
Tommy brought it up because
Yes, all
we were sitting there in the draft coverage, kind of wondering why he was dropping, and then he had the injury. You know what I mean? He played the whole year in the SEC with a injured foot.
Yeah.
And an
Foot too,
immobile
I think.
quarterback can't jump
Wouldn't-
over a curb.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
be the first time the Eagles drafted a guy on day 3 who's going to be a
stud.
a stud tackle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of par for the course.
Yeah. Stout you.
Gotta love it. What a
He
weapon he
does.
is. What a weapon he is, right?
It's
Oh,
actually
gonna
it's
miss him.
incredible. It's legitimately incredible.
We're going to miss him.
miss him. Where's he going?
I'm just saying, whenever that time comes.
I think he probably does the
Don't
Jim
put that
Johnson.
bad juju on there. Come on, Luke.
My fault.
think-
I saw Kelsey
No,
out
he's-
there with him today, though.
If he leaves,
What's Kelsey out there?
It's going to be the Jim Johnson way. That's how he's going to leave.
I don't know. I think Kelsey's one of these guys that just can't get away from it. And I'm
Yeah.
down. I like it.
I could see that. That'd be fun.
I mean, he was there today. I think he's one of those guys that just can't get enough.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I like it. I'm all in.
I'd love that.
Plus,
actually.
you got a house full of baby girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he's gotta
I mean,
get-
you
he's
gotta
gotta
get
get
out.
you want to be home? You want to be out?
Yeah, you got to get out.
Phillies do a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah. Doubleheader. Who's throwing? I know Sanchez is throwing. Who's else?
It should be Wheeler and Sanchez.
Wheeler.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Tell Wheels to put one in Acuna's fucking ear.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it should have been done the other night.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't.
Has there been any news or anything about? I know the X-ray came out negative.
Negative
I
X-rays.
was looking around like 3:00, kind of like as the game was postponed for like roster updates or like news just to see. But no, nothing. I mean, so maybe it worked out.
He might
Maybe
even play tomorrow.
There's a
Yeah,
possibility.
he could. He could play game one. I mean, he got it's more in the tricep.
Yeah,
so
which I think is huge.
Yeah, it's just bone bruise, contusion.
Yeah.
So
that was unbelievable. Couldn't believe that happened.
Really, if he can throw, honestly, it's more can he throw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily believe it was done on purpose, right? I mean,
no, I'm with you there.
But I mean, listen, this game's been played the same way for a long time. I mean, you get somebody star player like that up and in. I mean, you owe it to plunk the next guy, but everybody's soft, man.
Yeah.
Soft world we live in where nobody wants to retaliate, nobody wants to be the guy to retaliate. But I don't know.
I didn't realize it in the moment, but it was something Jake Peavy said because Jake Peavy's the same way, right? He's like, I was shocked that no one got drilled, but Harper's been plunked 3 times in the last week or last 4 games.
Yeah,
he's plunked twice in Oakland.
Yeah, he got hit in Oakland,
and then the other night. And I don't think the Phillies have done anything to retaliate.
No,
and I think that's shit.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Yeah, I don't really mind the Oakland part or the Sacramento part of it, but like something had to be done. Like, because Spencer Strider's good enough that he doesn't miss that bad. Like, I know it probably wasn't intentional. Spencer Strider doesn't miss like that much. He just doesn't. Like this, again, it's the first inning. You're setting a tone before a series of the Braves are at like an important part of their season where they're teetering around 500. Phillies are the best team in baseball at the moment, at least record-wise. Like, maybe you're trying to show something. Obviously, he's not trying to hurt the guy, but I need something. I know that like, there's a possibility that hey, your starter gets thrown out of the game or whatever. Which again, MLB's way soft, but something's got to be done.
Well, that's what you have Max Lazar in the bullpen. It's why you got Carlos Hernandez in the bullpen, right? It's why you have these guys that are shit anyway. Come in, 95 right to the hip.
Mm-hmm.
We don't got to say, yeah, here you go. Start Joe Ross game 1.
I'm in.
Start Joe Ross game 1.
I'm in.
Plunk Acuna, hit him right in one of his 75 pads. And
that would be awesome. I would start locking in.
I thought next time around,
yank him. Oh my god!
Or he gets thrown out, and we're like, oh yeah, well now we got Wheeler.
yeah, all right, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, Acuna or Riley had to see a ball.
Yeah,
you had to see.
Oh, it's not even up for debate.
Yeah,
I know somebody said something. If I would, I mean, not at the younger ages.
12-year-old.
Yeah. I'm not even doing that. Like, I'm not even doing that at 14, right?
Yeah.
Now you want to talk about older guys, high school guys, and somebody doing something that's like, all right, bro, what are you doing? Type stuff. Okay, maybe. I don't know if I've ever told a guy to do it. I think I told a guy to throw over his head and hit the backstop.
Yeah.
One time because of how the other team was acting, but that was about it. Like, not at that level, but college and pros, I'm drilling you all day for antics. But if you're drilling my best player, you're getting one right in the earlobe. That's how it's always been done. I mean, that's just, well, you don't want to hurt a guy, but you go up in it, I'm gonna come up in it on you too.
Yeah.
I remember. I think I was like 16. We ended up playing a team where our catcher from the year prior left and went to this other team, and I put one in a zip. Like, sometimes you just got to do it, right? It's nothing personal. Well, a little personal, but
a little personal. Yeah.
You're not trying to hurt the guy, right? You're like, all right, hey, here you go. All right, let's go play now. Let's go.
Yeah, hip, back, right? It don't matter. Just you ain't got to go head hunting.
No, nobody's saying that one.
Yep.
I mean, you won't go head hunting in the big leagues. That's on you, but you know.
But that's
I
like
know.
every time you see somebody go head hunting, that's what you see the reaction. It's like, dude, I know it's coming. Just don't hit me in the head. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know, you see Nicky get pissed off at somebody, McCutcheon earlier this year. I understand you played a game, but don't come at the head. Not the way these guys throw these days. I mean,
No.
some of these guys probably don't even know where the pitch is going anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of throwers out there, so
Yeah.
we know that.
A lot of throwers, not growers.
I don't think that's the same, but sure.
All right. Anything else, boys?
No, not really. I'm good. Dry time of year.
I've had nothing to think for 30 minutes, so
Yeah. Tommy missed a walk down memory lane. Is that memory lane?
That was fun. I like that. That was fun.
That was low.
no,
That was
I
enjoyable.
was my tank was just on A, so I had nothing. I had nothing to bring for you guys.
It's fun to go off the rails sometimes.
Always.
Oh, hey, man. It's, we're not in dog days yet, but we're getting there. It's
We're
close.
close.
Yeah.
Tired
We're
Kyle
close.
Corver talk in May, late May. I like it.
Oh, my God.
What was it? I just threw it up. Yeah, Keith.
What was it? Was it yesterday or today? 100 days until opening night for football?
Yesterday, I think.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Keith Van Horn, the original exciting Wade.
Yeah. Van Horn. Love that shit. It's great.
Keith Van Horn.
Good old Pete Rose. That's for sure. He was good old Pete.
Yep. Hall of Fame bound
Hopefully.
at some point. I don't think it's even hopeful at this point. I think he's just going to be in. Now that he's, he's passed, I think he'll be in.
He needs it. I mean, he doesn't need it. He's not even going to know about it, right? But yeah, I mean,
that record it needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
It
just needs to be. Yeah. Regardless, so word.
All right, boys. Great shit.
Good stuff.
See everybody.
Yeah.
See everybody next Wednesday. A2D Wednesday nights. Appreciate you all joining us. Hit the like and subscribe on your way out. We'll see you next Wednesday. I don't know what to say. Go Phils. That's all we got.
Trust the process.
Hell yeah.
TP.
Again.
Go Birds.
2